This is your NWA Into the Fire pay-per-view review. It is Sunday, December 15th, 2019. This is also another installment of Around the Point. I am Steve. If you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button down below. Give the video a big old thumbs up. Share it throughout your entire social media. You can follow me on Twitter at HeelSteven, where I tweet throughout all these shows. I'll be tweeting later on today during WWE TLC. I'll be live back on this channel once the pay-per-view is over. So again, if you are not yet subbed to the channel, hit that sub button down below. I know I'm late with this. I'm fully aware. This pay-per-view, Into the Fire, was literally yesterday. I was at work. I caught the replay today on my day off, on my lazy Sunday. And I gotta say, overall, this was a very darn good show by the NWA. At the same time, it felt like 2 hours and a half episode of Power, like they do on their weekly show on YouTube, which is not a bad thing, okay? It's really not a bad thing. I honestly, again, I enjoyed watching the show. Give me your thoughts in the comment threads below. Did you enjoy NWA Into the Fire? Or not, did you not like it? Let me know on Twitter, or if not, let me know in the comment threads of this video. At the same time, I'll say this, what I liked about it, that the show went by so fast. There was no prolonging anything, no oversaturated booking in every single match. It was straight to the point. Let's enjoy, if you will, right? That's what it felt like to me. Also, what they announced on the show, that NWA will be back on pay-per-view on January 24th, 2020, their first pay-per-view of 2020. And on this event, it will be the return of the NWA Television Championship. And during the show, Stu Bennett brought out the title. It was literally under the table, literally. And the crowd went crazy for it. And you look right now at the NWA. They currently have as their titles right now, you know, obviously, the 10 pounds of gold, which is the NWA World title, right? You have the national championship, you have the tag titles, and you have the women's title. You're adding now, once again, the TV title. That's 5 belts right there. People have been saying, as good as it is, as cool, as awesome, NWA has a very thin roster. So you assume that with all of this heading into season 2, they're going to have to add more people onto that roster. And also, oh, but they're not on TV. It's on the internet. It's on YouTube. That's what people are saying. And I understand that. You can make the argument. You're not wrong on that. However, the show in general is supposed to give you that old school vibe, right? Studio wrestling, old school, the good, right? The good stuff. So I'm okay with them bringing back the television title, even though they are not really on TV per se. So it is what it is. I'm pretty sure they'll do a tournament or something like that to crown the new television champion. Also on the show, a villain made an appearance at the end of the pay-per-view. We'll get into that also later on. But let's get into the main card, shall we? Let's get into the main card. The show kicked off with Eli Drake versus Ken Anderson. I thought overall it was a good way to start off the show. Two guys that literally went out there. They tore it up. The crowd was into this too. You had on commentary Joe Galli, who I think is doing an amazing job, honestly. Also, with him was Stu Bennett, the former Bad News Barrett, replacing Jim Cornette. And I thought overall the two did a very good job on commentary. They meshed very well. But back to this match, again, a very good back and forth match. There's a lot of near falls, right? Two guys that were in the hunt for the world title a couple of weeks ago. There was a triple threat. It was James Storm versus Eli Drake versus Ken Anderson, right? So there was that as well. And they went out there and they just tore it up. Like I said, there's a moment in the match where Ken Anderson's on the top rope. And Eli Drake, to everyone's surprise, he runs and he leaps to the top turnbuckle. We've seen this before. Like, we've seen back in the day Shelton Benjamin do this. Kurt Angle done this before, right? And the crowd went crazy for that, into the suplex. at the end of the match, though, right? The match ends when Anderson was attempting to powerbomb Eli Drake off the top of the corner. And then Drake literally dropped all his weight on Anderson and rolled him up for the pin. So Eli Drake picked up the win here. And again, a good way to kick off the show. The crowd was into this as well and all that stuff. And then after this, we had an interview segment with Dave Marquez, who looks like Don Francisco. Okay? He interviewed both Nick Aldis and James Storm. And again, this is what I meant. It felt like an episode of Power. Right? He had these interviews in between. Again, just the same setting and everything. And Aldis said that Camille had the night off. She had the night off and will not be at ringside. And obviously, at the same time, both men put the NWA over and took credit for the NWA success. Storm also bragged about all the beer that he could drink as he cut the promo on all this and stuff like that. Again, a good way to hype up the main event. 2 out of 3 falls match. James Storm versus Nick Aldis for the NWA World Title. Again, awesome. We then had Thunder Rosa versus Tasha Steelz. I thought this match was okay. Nothing to go crazy for. This was Tasha Steelz' debut in NWA. So you bring her in on a pay-per-view, which is fine. No problem. They added this match literally out of nowhere. Because in the predictions, I did not mention this match. I heard about this literally a couple of days ago. At the same time, that's okay. Literally is Thunder Rosa just giving this girl a fucking beating. Giving her a fucking beating. But eventually, like I said, Thunder Rosa picked up the win. After a double stomp to the back, Thunder Rosa continued to attack on Steelz after the bell with Ashley Vox, who was supposed to be in the tag team match later on in the night with Allison K, came out to the ring for the save, but Thunder Rosa got the better of Ashley Vox, and with the shoulder breaker and then using her knee to bend Vox's elbow in a very awkward way. The commentary just sold this shit up, and again, a good visual, and this literally took out Ashley Vox, who was not in the tag team match with Allison K, as they were supposed to take on Marty Bell and Melina. We get into the third match on the show. We had Trevor Murdoch versus the question mark, the most over thing on the show right now. Aaron Student Stevens, who accompanied the question mark to the ring. He literally wore a gi, everything. Literally, Aaron Stevens wore a gi because apparently he is now a third Dan Mongrovian karate black belt, right? And it was funny. It was wacky. It was funny. And at the same time, though, again, the question mark is just over as all hell here, okay? He really, really is. The match didn't really go that long. It was an okay match. But again, the question mark, I'm going to say this over and over and over again, is just over as Rover right now. And they're doing the whole thing. Like, you remember back in the day in WWE when Damien Sandow was Damien Mizdow, and whenever, the Miz would talk, they would boo, the crowd would boo, but whenever Mizdow would speak, they would cheer. They're doing that here as well, with obviously the question mark being the most over thing next to Aaron Stevens. But again, the match was okay. It didn't really go long, right? And there's a moment in the match where Trevor Murdoch was on the top rope, but got distracted, right, by Aaron Stevens. He later, again, interfered after Murdoch, I guess, threw like the Mongrovian flag onto the ground. And then the question mark hit Murdoch with a double spike to the throat. Not once, but two. Because early in the match, he hit it and he got a near fall. But in this time, he got the pin. So the question mark picked up a win with the help of Aaron Stevens, which is fine. It's fine, no problem. We all know, really, when you think about it, the person behind the mask is Josephus. Come on. Let's not kid ourselves here, okay? We then had the fourth match on the show. The fourth match. Keep this in mind, too, before I go any further. Throughout the show, they played video packages, right? Hyping up the main event of Nick Aldis and James Storm, which was cool. Awesome. No problem. Okay? We had the fourth match. We had the Rock and Roll Express, the 9-time NWA World Tag Team Champions, defending the tag team titles against the wild cards of Latimer and Isaacs. So before the match even took place, the Rock and Roll Express came out first. And one thing too is why I didn't say this earlier. Everyone on the show had an entrance music. They all came up from the top of the stairs down through the crowd, which was pretty cool. I hope, honestly, they used that also into season 2. It kind of reminded me a little bit of the Lucha Underground type of thing, but that's just me. Hopefully, they follow with that heading into season 2, but we'll see. At the same time, kind of like the bad music to pick for the Rock and Roll Express. I had like a rock techno music, but whatever. Okay. The Rock and Roll Express were accompanied by Outlaw Inc. of Eddie Kingston and Homicide. The Wild Card were accompanied by the Dawson brothers, David and Zane. At the same time, too, you know, you look at the Dawsons, right? They were built very well heading into this pay-per-view. It surprises me that they didn't have a match on this show. But nonetheless, they were used and it was fine, right? Throughout this match, though, there was a lot of miscommunication by both Latimer and Isaacs, right? The former Bram, okay? A lot of miscommunications back and forth, which literally led to their demise in this match. Obviously, yes, Ricky Morton is a fucking machine. Holy crap, he is a definition of a fucking cyborg. He does a suicide dive and then does a Canadian Destroyer, the same one we saw at Full Gear a couple of weeks ago in AEW. I swear to God, yo. Ricky Morton, at the age that he is in, I wonder how old is Ricky Morton? I'm curious right now to see the age of Ricky Morton. Cause I gotta say he's past 60 or probably into the 70s. And if I'm wrong, I am wrong, okay? Ricky Morton right now is 63 years old. Holy shit. I hope when I'm 63, I am able to take bumps and just have that type of agility. I'm just saying, okay? At 63 fucking years old. Good for him. But again, like I said earlier, there was a distraction, right? Or miscommunication between the wild cards. And also during this match as well, you had on the outside, you had the Dawsons fighting Outlaw Inc. And that distracted them even more to where eventually they literally they hit a double drop kick, right, on Isaacs. And they got the pin. So with that, the Rock and Roll Express retained the NWA Tag Team titles. I mentioned earlier in this review that Stu Bennett announced that the next pay-per-view will be on January 24th, and it'll be the return of the NWA Television Championship. Leading that, we had Eli Drake come out to get interviewed by Dave Marquez and was interrupted by Kid Anderson, who attacked Drake with the chair because, again, he was mad that he lost to Eli Drake, right? And Anderson put Drake's head through the chair and rammed it. And we've seen this before in the past, right? The whole ramming into the steel post at the outside of the ring. And yeah, referees, securities try to literally break them up, right? And then after this, Anderson got Drake into the ring, hit a mic check onto Drake onto the chair. So this is not done. They're far from over yet. This feud continues, and I'm fine with that. I really, really am fine. At the same time, though, I'm going to say this right now about Eli Drake. To me, Eli Drake just stands out. I had mentioned earlier how the question mark is over as hell with the crowd. Eli Drake, to me, stands out from everyone else on the show. He is someone who I think who should be challenging for that world title by 2020. If he's not the TV champion or the national champion, he should be the world champion. Matter of fact, if he is not holding a belt by the end of 2020 in NWA, I don't know what the fuck is wrong with the NWA. That guy is money, in my honest opinion. We then get the tag team match of Allison K and ODB. That's right, ODB replaced Ashley Vox in this match to take on Melina and Marty Bell. I honestly did not like this match at all. It was there. I just felt like it was a little sloppy, honestly. ODB just looked out of it at the same time as well. But yeah, that being said, ODB, like I said, replaced Ashley Vox, making her NWA debut. ODB pinned Marty Bell after K sent Bell into ODB's grasp and hit Bell with the TKO. That's how you end this match. And it's fine. It's something quick, fast, over with. To me, and I said this in my predictions on episode 316 of the Team Heel podcast, to me, it should have been Allison K versus Thunder Rosa on the pay-per-view. Not have Thunder Rosa versus, what her name is again, freaking Tasha Steelz, and have Allison K in this tag team match. No, it should have been, like I said earlier, I'm going to say it again, Thunder Rosa versus Allison K for the women's championship. But it is what it is. We then get the triple threat, the co-main event, the triple threat for the NWA National Championship. You have Colt Cabana defending his championship versus Ricky Starks and Aaron Stevens. Ricky Starks stands out to me as well. He is someone who, again, just like Eli Drake, may not be, the sharpest guy on the mic. But just like him, he stands out from the crowd. If he is not, again, just like Drake not holding the title by the end of 2020 in the NWA, then I don't know what's wrong with him either. Okay? I thought this match, for what it was an okay match. Okay? During this match, you had Aaron Stevens, who was accompanied by the question mark. And again, it goes back to what I was saying earlier. The question mark is over as shit. It really, really is. It's like, why is he not in this match, right? But that's just around the point. There's a moment in this match where Aaron Stevens is hiding behind the Christmas tree. And Stu Bet talked about how the Christmas tree is from Monrovia, right? Has this like special power or something like that. Stevens hit Cabana with a low blow, while the question mark distracted the referee. And then Stevens hit Starks with a discus clothesline, but got a near fall out of that. Cabana got Starks into the Billy Goat's curse. The Starks made it to the rope. Meanwhile, Stevens once again hid under the Christmas tree skirt throughout this whole time, right? Which is funny. It is what it is. Cabana hit Stark with the Superman pin, but the question mark hit Cabana with the Mongrovian spike and pulled Starks out of the ring, allowing Stevens to slip back in and pin Colt Cabana. And Joe Galli lost his mind. No, he couldn't believe it, what he saw, right? Aaron Stevens is stealing the win, right? And in the process, Aaron Stevens is the new national champion in the NWA. He went on to dedicate this match to his dog, Bo Cephas. And that, whatever. It was cool. Awesome. Why the fuck not, right? After this, we had Dave Marquez, again, interviewing now referee Tim Storm, because you guys remember, Tim Storm is one of the referees in the main event. And he asked him about being selected as one of the two referees for the heavyweight championship match. And again, for Tim Storm, this is a fucking honor, right? He is basically like an ambassador for the NWA, right? So for him, it's a fucking honor. It's awesome. It's something that he, again, is going to do this with passion for the NWA and stuff like that, right? Awesome. We get to the main event. We have Nick Aldis versus James Storm for the NWA World Championship. So James Storm selected as his referee to be Brian Hebner, right, for the first fall. Like I said, also, Tim Storm was selected to be the referee by Nick Aldis. And in the event of the third fall, there will be a coin flip to determine which of the two referees will referee the third fall. The first fall was early in the match. Camille appeared at ringside, distracted Aldis, who ordered her to go backstage. Keep this in mind, Nick Aldis demanded her to have the night off prior to this match even taking place. And it got distracted Nick Aldis. Storm hit Aldis with the last call SuperKick to win the first fall. Right? So Storm was up 1-0. The match headed outside of the ring, into the crowd. Storm getting the upper hand, right? Until later on in the match, Aldis later threw Storm into the Christmas tree set that was literally right there, right by the announcer's table, right? The crowd literally started chanting Merry Christmas. Fine. The holiday spirits, I'm okay with that. Aldis withstood Storm's attack, right? And got the second fall after literally countering a small package. an old school, Haas fighting sure, right? And an actual ref bump from Nick Aldis to Brian Hebner, who was selected to be the referee for the third fall, right? So again, the referee was out because of a Nick Aldis bump, and Tim Storm took over as a referee. And keep this in mind, early on in the night, they put a video where James Storm was questioning why would Nick Aldis pick Tim Storm to be the referee? Why, right? And all that stuff. They mentioned how Nick Aldis was in the ear of Tim Storm and all that stuff leading up and all that. So there you go with that as well. All right. There's a moment in the match where Aldis pulled the padding off the top turnbuckle, right? And as Storm pulled him back in for the pin, Aldis kicked Storm in the face and into the exposed turnbuckle, knocking out James Storm. This is during the third fall, of course, right? And Aldis put Storm in the cloverleaf, and the match was called for all this base. So in all of this, Tim Storm, right, called for the bell, and Nick Aldis is still the NWA World Champion. At the same time, it's funny because you watch on commentary, Stu Bennett was demanding, this should have been a disqualification because Nick Aldis put his hand on the referee. It was unintentional. But there was that too. And again, overall, it was a very good match. I enjoyed it, right? It had, again, that old school feel, which the NWA is going for. Old school feel with a bunch of new talent, right? And I said it before and I'll say it again. To me, Nick Aldis is doing the best work of his career right now. Amazing. I'm a fan. I really, really am. Aldis was then interviewed by Dave Marquez. And after the match, he talked about how there's not a person alive that's going to take this belt off him right now. And then the lights went out, and out came the villain, Marty Scurll, right? The two stood face to face in the ring before Aldis left. And remember, these two guys had a match at the Crockett Cup a couple of months ago for the NWA World Title. Marty Scurll came up short in that match. And then after this, Marty Scurll spoke to Dave Marquez. Cut a promo that, for whatever reason, was disrupted because, I don't know, there's a streaming issue with Fight. It was interrupted. But then you see Marty Scurll posing in the ring, and that's where the show wrapped up. Now, people are wondering, is he NWA bound? What about AEW? There's a lot of people who thought that Marty Scurll was on his way to All Elite Wrestling. He's a free agent now. I think he is still a free agent. He isn't really doing a major signing or anything. I just think, honestly, this is him doing an appearance for the NWA going into season 2. Because, again, they're taping, right, for the next season as we speak, right? Today, maybe tomorrow as well. So Marty Scurll, I want to believe, will be a major part of season number 2. I want to believe that, hey, we are looking at we're going into, I want to say, Nick Aldis versus Marty Scurll part 2 at their next pay-per-view coming up on January 24th. And after that, Marty Scurll will likely be All Elite in AEW. That's my thoughts. Give me your thoughts in the comment threads below. You can follow me on Twitter at HeelSteven. Again, I'll be live later on tonight for my TLC review. So again, a reason why you should hit that sub button, hit that bell icon, be notified whenever I upload a video, whenever I go live and all that stuff. I will have my final battle review sometime this week. All right, I do promise that. But anyway, guys, thank you all for tuning in. As always, hate, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you all later for my TLC review, guys. Peace out, y'all. Take care.